moment 100%. And the future's now in the present moment, and the past is in the present moment. And the present moment is a huge ball of, it's our reality. And then everything's in there with us now. But it's taken a couple of years for that to filter into our daily life so that we understand what that means or how that is going to work. So I don't know, that's the way I see it moving up until right about now.
Yeah, and just to take a little slice of how this trend seems to be changing. In one sense, I see it changing where people are really getting to know the greatness that they are. Like each and every one of us is a powerful, whole, and complete being. And so this whole genre, really, of the cult of personality is no longer a distraction for many of us because we're really getting who we are. And so because we are the seer, the process of seeing and the scenery, we're really the one being. So the idea of specialness and some separate super personality out there that is not me and has all the answers for me, that we saw like in the rise of the guru implosion on the West in the 60s and the 70s, and sort of the disaster areas that also crept in because of that, giving away of our power and selling out to the spiritual industry. I think that's something that we're also shedding. And we're recognizing that we have and are everything. And we can share that, we can relish it, we can learn from one another because we're all carrying vast amounts of information from a very different, specific way or frequency of perception that when we do join and merge, we gain in sharing. And so the transparency of sharing with one another is such a win-win situation that the idea of trying to usurp it or take it for yourself or give it to someone else because they're better just doesn't feel natural.
Yeah, it's like if you don't share now and go into kind of collectives, you don't know what you know. Other people bring it out of you. You know, it's like you start to realize how big you are because other people are there doing the same thing with you. You know, yeah, I think that there are certain trends that are like, the present moment is the one huge one. You know, like everything is in the present moment, and we cannot project in the linear way anymore into past and future, because they're all inside, but also other locations are inside of us. It's like time and space are all inside of our big spherical ball, which is the new reality, and we're in the center of it, and we never leave the center of it. You know, there's no outside world. And boy, when you stop thinking there's somewhere else to be or more to know that I don't have now and I got to get it from the outside, you know, that's the old law of attraction is still perpetrating that idea that there's an outside world, that I have to attract something from somewhere else to myself and keep it. Whereas in the new transformed reality, which is spherical, everything's already in the sphere with you and it just emerges. So it's more like the law of emergence, that your frequency, that whatever you're running at any given time, is also the frequency of your field. It matches. There is no outside world. It's all one vibe. And then out of that field comes the stuff of your life. And it matches that frequency. And it always has been that way.
And you're the captain of your ship. You determine your frequency.
Yeah. Yeah. And so if you're being, you know, partially happy or partially enlightened and still believing in you know, negativity, you'll get people who are the same way in your life. You know, and as soon as you get clear and you get more into a normal higher frequency like your diamond light body, your field clears up and stuff starts occurring that's almost magical and synchronous and great opportunities and flow. And you didn't do anything with your willpower. That's sort of just a sign of how it's going to feel in the new transformed reality.
During the diamond light body experience there, there were some moments that were just fabulous, at least for me, and I suspect for others. Yes?
Yes.
So, what can you add that helps us to stay in that kind of magic that happens in those experiences?
You know, like daily practice kind of things?
Yeah.
Well, part of it, I think, what I talk about a lot is noticing what you notice. And paying attention to, I call it your inner perceiver, or you could call it the Holy Spirit in the Course in Miracles. But there's a part of us, I think, that helps us notice a sequence of things throughout the day, and that becomes meaningful to us, and we make life meaningful to ourselves in a certain kind of sequence. It's what we need to know, and we reveal it to ourselves. So I've made a practice during the day of noticing what I'm noticing. You know, so, okay, well, why am I noticing this? You know, and am I trying to get a message through to myself, or why is this kind of weird thing happening? And then staying with that and answering myself from that other place. And it keeps me very conscious that way. And then if I notice you can start to have a feeling state in your body of contraction versus relaxation and softness, where you're porous and the light is just easy flowing. And then you can tell when you tighten up. And you can make a decision when you tighten up, to say, oh, wait a minute, I'm tightening up. Oops, there I go again, you know. Okay, and then get back centered, open up again, get back into that diamond light self or home frequency. It's just a practice of noticing subtle states, I think.
And to add to that, mantra. And the word mantra in the Sanskrit, man comes from manas, mind, thinking mind, and tra comes from travana, or protection. So it's a way of protecting your mind. So you know how if you're not focused, sometimes you can trail off into story, into chatter, into negative self-talk or judgments and criticism. If you have a mantra, and it could be in English, it can be in whatever language is sacred to you and dear to your heart and raises your frequency, but to have that type of inner chanting, which actually allows you to live this enchanted, magical life, because the mantra is a living being. This is what we're taught in the yoga science. So when you're enchanted, you're actually tuned into your God-like vibration, or the vibration of the Supreme Being, which is this direct link with your thought process, and your thoughts are the cause of your energy field. And so if you're really intoning, chanting divine vibration, you're shifting your energy field to resonate with this presence that is diamond light, that is your highest self. So even while you're listening right now, you can always go back to your mantra. Touchstone.
Yeah, I like that, because it relates to something I've thought of too, that I just call your original tone.
Yeah.
This is a lot like your home frequency, but if you thought of your inner soul vibration as a sound, maybe it's an inaudible sound or something, you know, but if you think of yourself as a tuning fork and you strike that tuning fork and it makes your original tone, it's a vibration, and if we're auditory, it's an easy way to center into it, you know. But I like that, and I also like the idea of silence. You know, because a lot of what we're talking about is getting out of the left brain, and that linear, analytical, compartmentalized, fragmented consciousness that the left brain does so well, which is useful. But it shouldn't be the boss of our reality, you know. And so we want to shift intentionally into the right brain, where you have direct immersion into the moment with no language. The right brain has no language center. So when you get quiet and you stop your internal dialogue, you immediately shift to the right brain. And if you start feeling into and dropping in, you will move right into that communion space again. I call it stop and drop.
And as you were speaking about the left brain being sort of the boss, I was thinking of the left brain identity as like a slumlord. You know, like if you follow that voice, you're missing out on 99% of who you are and what's possible. And so in this linear, rigid, three-dimensional perception or image making that we have been conditioned into, we are feeling, I think, to get back to your question about what's going on collectively also, is that we're undergoing this shaking of the foundations of what has held the limited linear perception in place, be it government, institutions, financial systems, religious systems, philosophy, psychology. Like all of this is shaking now because, in the words of Robert Plant, the children of the sun begin to awake. And once this consciousness comes online, and we're back in the still multidimensional reality that is always now and always brilliant, we no longer will be selling out our life force to the shell games.
Yeah, I think society, I mean, it will radically shift. And look at the corporate world won't be motivated by profit as much as co-creation and getting to work together with other people of like vibration, you know, or, you know, of just innovation, just like the cool, fun thing of bringing ideas through. And then profit will just be a kind of extra thing that comes along on the side, you know, not the main focus. And competition won't be the same thing. You know, it'll be a lot of different, you know, things will start happening. And I think the collective consciousness that's forming now because of this unity, if you go into the unified field in your meditation and you move beyond the boundary of your skin and you start seeing yourself as